Hi everyone, welcome back to CA Foundation Principles and Practice of Accounting RTP discussion for the exam November 2020. So in the previous two videos we've done few questions but still the RTP is left incomplete. So in this video we'll try and cover as many questions as possible and in the next video we'll try and do the remaining questions. So we're in part 3 of RTP discussion. So let's get started. So in the previous video, if you can recall, we were doing this sixth question and we had left it in between. Technical issue, it got cut in between. So let's continue from where we left. So the introduction part as to how to go about valuation of inventory is discussed in the previous video, part 2. The link to which is in the description. You guys can go back and then watch the last 5 minutes of the previous video to get a brief understanding as to how to tackle the questions with regard to valuation of inventories. Now, taking this discussion ahead, with regard to valuation of inventory, this particular question, question number 6, they have given us the inventory as on 15th of April and they're expecting us to identify the inventory as on 31st of March. That is, we're moving backwards in time. And when we move backwards in time, what do? We add back sales, subtract purchases. And the inventory which belongs to us but not remaining with us but there with the third party will be added to our closing stock. And those inventories which are there with us but doesn't really belong to us but belongs to someone else, we just have the possession of it, will not be included in our inventory. So we need to go by the substance over form concept, basically, meaning we need to go by the physical substance. We need to go by the, what to say, the reality and not just the legality. You get what I'm trying to do? So it's about the reality, it's not just about the possession of the goods, it's about in reality who owns those goods. Yeah, okay, let's get going. So we had started with this particular part. They've given inventory at go down as on 15th of March 2020. That is 50,000. We've written that. And then we read the first adjustment, that is sales of rupees 41,000 was affected after 31st of March but before 15th of April. So this much of goods have gone out. You get that? So these goods were there with us on 31st of March but it's not there with us on 15th of April. So on 15th of April, if we take inventory, that inventory is less. So we'd have to find 31st of March inventory. So we need to add it back. And that's the reason I've written here add sales 41,000. But I've written in the inner column because this sales includes selling. This sales is at selling price. We'd have to take the sales at cost price. So what is it that I would do? I would adjust the sales for the profit element, and after I eliminate the profit element, whatever is the cost of this goods sold, that will be taken to the outer column, which will be added to the inventory as on 15th of April to arrive at the inventory as on 15th of March. Sorry, 31st of March. Let's go to the next adjustment. Purchases. It doesn't really matter whether it is cash or credit. Yeah, 5,034 is the purchases. So with regard to purchase, what has happened is these many goods have been purchased after 31st of March before 15th April. So on 31st, we don't have it. On 15th, we have it. We're trying to find the inventory as on what date? So 31st of March. So we don't really have that. So we should eliminate it. Yeah, I would have to subtract. So I'll write here. This is the second adjustment. Purchases. What is the value? The amount is 5034. So I'll write here 5034. Yeah, 5,034 rupees. And totally after we do the entire problem, we'll post the amounts from the inner column to the outer column. So till then, let's keep it in the inner column. Not an issue. Yeah, going ahead, let's see the third one. Sales returns of rupees 1,000. So with regard to this sales return, what is it that we should do? There is returns to the extent of 1,000. We would adjust it from our sales. So I'll write here sales. Ouch. Sales returns. How much is sales returns? Sales returns is 1,000 rupees. I'll take it as 100,000, meaning sales is 41,000, sales return is 1,000. So net sales would be 40,000. Can I write it this way? Yeah, sales return has to be subtracted from sales. If I take the net of sales is actually 40,000 rupees. Again, I still cannot take this 40,000 to the inner column and then add it, basically, because these sales are at selling price. I would have to find the profit element in this. deduct it, find the what to say the cost of these goods sold, and those cost of goods sold will go to the outer column. I'll write it here if you want to. Less profit. Yeah, once I deduct that profit, whatever I get, that will go to the outer column. Till then I will have to wait. Yeah. So now sales is 41,000, returned is 1,000. So technically 40,000 worth goods, you had it on 31st of March, you don't have it on 15th of April. So if I tell you 15th of April ka stock, and if I want you to find 31st of March stock, you need to add it back. So it's like this. Morning is 31st of March, evening is 15th of April. So morning you had something with you. After the morning, before evening, you sold something. So after selling at the end of the day, whatever you have is lesser than what you had in the morning, because those much of goods have gone up because you sold. So if I have to know how much did I have in the morning, I need to add it back so that I'll understand how much stock I had in the morning on that very day. So that's where we stand. Let us now go back. So we're done with 1, 2, 3. Now let's do it the fourth one. On 15th of March, that is before 31st of March, goods of the sale value 10,000 were sent on return or approval basis. This is a tricky one. Don't try to read the entire adjustment at once and then try to solve it. Whenever there is a bunch of sticks that's given to you and you are asked to break, all you need to do is pick one stick at a time and then break it. Don't try to break your head by taking the entire adjustment at once. So whenever there is a big problem, understand strands of the problem and try to break it. Yeah. So we'll pick one stick from it. What is it? On 15th of March, goods of sale value 10,000 were sent on return or approval basis to customer. Let's not read the question further anymore. Let's make a note of this. So we're doing adjustment number 3 right now. So I'll write it here. Goods on goods sent on return or approval basis. We're doing working note basically. This is working note, guys. Yeah. So working note for the third adjustment, goods sent on return or approval basis as on 15th of March. Okay. 15th March is 15,000. Am I right? It is, sorry, 10,000. 10,000 rupees worth goods have been sent. Perfect. Hmm? Okay. Let's go ahead. Now let's see what's there after that. The period of approval being 4 weeks. So there is 4 weeks time for approval. Okay. 4 weeks. So if the 4 weeks time is given, so what is the last date for them to return? Well, let us assume 15th April. 15th of April is the date. That is the time period within which they were supposed to return the goods. You get that? But in between this, 4 weeks is the time period given. Yeah, 4 weeks is the time period given. Time period. Time for returns. So within 4 weeks, if you don't like the goods, you can return it. If you don't return it within 4 weeks, nor say yes, it is assumed to be sold. Between this 15th of March and 15th of April comes one beautiful date. That is 31st of March. I'll write here. We are trying to find the stock as on 31st of March. You get that? So 15th of March, 31st of March, 15th of April. So you sent how much? 10,000 worth goods have been sent. Okay, next. Let's read further. He returned 40% of the goods on 10th April, approving the rest. Okay, fine, fine. 10th April, he returned the goods. I'll write here 10th April. So what happened? This is sent. You sent 10,000 worth goods to him on 15th of April. He returned. How much was returned? Returned 40%. So when they say 40%, can I take it as 4,000? Obviously, isn't it? Okay, returned 4,000. Next, what's happening on 10th April? Approving the rest. Okay, is approved the rest, and customer was billed on 16th April. Approving the rest will have no significance. We need to take into consideration that the billing is done on 16th of April. So we have one more date here, that is 16th April. Yeah, billed how much? 6,000. Okay, so this is the information that is being given to us in the question. Now, what is it that we need to find? We need to find what is the stock as on this date. We need to know what is the stock as on this date. That's our question. On what to say, 10,000 worth inventory is sent, and then 4,000 worth inventory is returned. 15th of April, what is the status? We don't know. 15th of the date is when we did the what to say, the physical taking of the stock. And on 16th of April, 6,000 worth inventory is built. Now, let us see at go down. At go down. Now, what is happening at go down? For 10,000 worth inventory is sent. So 10,000 worth inventory, is it there with in the go down on 15th of March? No. In the go down, there is no inventory on 15th of March because it is sent on that date. On 31st of March, is the inventory there with you? No. No inventory is there with you on 31st of March because the entire inventory as on 31st of March is with the whom? Is with the person to whom you sent it. Now let's go to 10th of April. On 10th of April, that guy has returned 4,000 worth inventory to you. So we have 4,000 worth inventory included. 4,000 he returned it to you. So we have 4,000 with you on, or to say in go down as on what date? As on 15th, as on 10th of April. Now 15th of April, how much do you have? 15th of April also you have 4,000 worth inventory because the remaining 6,000 is with the customer, the person to whom you give. And on this date, it basically doesn't matter. That day also you have 4,000 worth goods. Okay guys, I'll write 4,000 here. 6,000 is there with that guy only and he has accepted it is billed. Now what should we find? We should find the inventory as on 31st of March. As on 31st of March. As on 31st of March. Tell me what is your book inventory. That is the question. You should identify what is the book inventory as on 31st of March. Now, you sent 10,000 worth goods. I'll repeat, you sent 10,000 worth goods. Is it sold or just sent? Is it sold or is it just sent? The answer is it is just sent. It is not sold. You might be wondering why. Because it is sent on return or approval basis. I have given the goods to that fellow and I have told him, if you want, you can retain the goods with you, and if you don't want, you can return the goods to me. So when he has an option to return the goods to me, he has not accepted it. He has 4 weeks time to accept. That 4 weeks starts on 15th of March, ends on 15th of April. And before that it is returned 4,000, is accepted only on 16th of April. The billing is done on that date. So tell me, have I transferred only the physical possession or have I transferred the ownership also? I've only transferred the physical possession. I have not transferred the ownership. So the goods are not in my godown, but the goods still belong to me. You get that? So with regard to goods sent on return or approval, on 15th of March, my inventory is 10,000. My inventory is 10,000. Next, on 31st of March, has he given approval for any goods? No. So entire 10,000 should be included in my inventory. Entire 10,000 worth goods, what I sent here belongs to me. Belongs to me. It is only with him. I would have to include it. So the important point is entire 10,000 is to be included. Yeah, entire 10,000 is to be included. Do you guys get this? Yeah, entire 10,000 is to be included. Now let's go to 10th April. 4,000 inventory came in. Now when 10th April returned the 4,000 inventory, that 4,000 inventory is there on 15th of April. Is there on 15th of April. So only 6,000 worth inventory is not included. Now come to the starting point here. We're starting with 15th of April. So 15th of April, how much is the inventory in the godown? 50,000. This 50,000 already includes 4,000. 50,000 already includes 4,000. Why? 50,000 inventory is counted on 15th of April. On 15th of April, when I count my inventory to be 50,000, that includes 4,000 which is returned. So entire 10,000 is to be included, of which 4,000 is included on 15th April. So 10,000 is to be included, of which 4,000 is included already on 15th of April. You get this? Now we're starting with balances on 15th of April. Now 15th of April, how much is included? Only 4,000 is included in this. How much should be included? 10,000. So out of 10, 4 is included. What is not included? 6,000. I'll repeat. 10,000 worth inventory is sold. 4,000 is received back. When 4,000 is received, it's on 10th of April. When it is received back on 10th of April, 50,000, what is counted on 15th of April, includes that 4,000. Remaining 6,000 belongs to us, but it's not been included, so I'd have to include it now. So I'll repeat, what is it that I would have to do here? Of which 4,000 is included. Remaining 6,000 is to be included now. Yeah. So this is the adjustment what we should do. 6,000 is to be included now. So basically, what is it that I should do? Add to inventory. So what is it that I should do? I should add this. 6,000 is to be added. Another important point. When I say add this 6,000 is at selling price. 6,000 is at selling price. I would have to eliminate the profit element on the 6,000 and then take it to the outer column. So come on, let's write this. This is the third adjustment. So I'll write here. Oh, sorry, this is the fourth one. I'll write it here. Fourth one. Goods and on return or approval. Okay. How much is the amount? Amount is 6,000 that should be added. I'll write 6,000 here. But from this, I would have to deduct what? Deduct the profit element. Once I deduct the profit element, whatever the amount comes, that amount I'll post it to my inner column, then add them, post it to outer column, then total of less item will post, and that's how we'll find our inventory as per books as on 31st of March 2020. So we're done with this fourth adjustment. If you want it, I'll just show the working for this particular part so that you guys can make a note of it. This is for your understanding. Should you do this in the exam? The answer is no. You need not write this entire work. You just need to write add, subtract. That is sufficient. Ouch. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Let's go to the next adjustment. So we're done till 4. Now we'll see the fifth adjustment. Fifth and the last adjustment. A trader had also received. Oh, important point. In this particular case, we have received the goods. We have not given the goods. In the fourth adjustment, we basically sent the goods. We gave the goods out to return or approval, meaning our goods were lying with someone else. But in this case, goods have been received. We have received the goods. Costing rupees 8,000. They've given the cost of the goods, so need not eliminate the profit element. See, in the previous two cases, we wrote no less profit. That we need not do in the fifth adjustment. Why? What they've given us is already the cost. How much? 8,000 in March for sale on consignment basis. Okay. So we are not the owner of the goods here. We are consignee. We are taking mere possession of the goods. We are only agent. We are not the principal. We are not the owner. We only sell the goods on behalf of our consignor in return for some commission. So that's what we're doing. Okay. So on what date? In the month of March. Okay. 20% of the goods have been sold by 31st of March. Okay. Let's make a note of this before we forget. We're doing fifth adjustment. Goods received on consignment. How much is the goods received on consignment? 10,000, I guess. No, 8,000. Okay. 8,000. Received in March. 8,000. 8,000. Perfect. Okay. Then what's happening? 20% of the goods have been sold by 31st of March. Okay. Sold. in March. How much? 20%. 20% of 8,000, it's not very difficult. I'll write it straight, 1,600. I know the tables pretty well. Yeah. So this is done. So when so much is sold, remaining with us. Okay. Is there any other part of it? And another 50% by 15th March. Okay. Further sold in, we'll take that also together. Okay. Sold in April. How much? Further 50%. Okay. So it's not like out of the remaining 50% is sold. So further 50% is sold. So 8,000 by 50% is 4,000. So what is remaining? Remaining in Godong on what date? 15th April. On 15th April, they've given no stock. When they took that stock verification, there is some part which is involved. How much is that? 50% gone, 20% gone. So what is remaining is 30%. 30% of 8,000. If you basically do 30% of 8,000, you will get it 2,400. If not, you can do subtraction also. Yeah, 8,000 minus 1,600 minus 4,000. So 6,000 again minus no, 8 minus 4, 4,000 by 1,600 if you subtract 2,400. So this is the inventory which is included in the stock as on 15th of April. That's there in our board. But tell me, do we own these goods? No. Whom does these goods belong to? Consignor. What have we done? We've included in our stock. So that inventory which doesn't belong to us has been wrongly included. So we should eliminate it. So when I say eliminate, less from inventory. So what should we do? We should deduct it from inventory. So this part has to be deducted from our inventory. This part was supposed to be added. Okay, that's with respect to that. Now guys, tell me, when I say less from inventory to that extent, should I subtract it straight away or should I write it in the inner column and then do some profit adjustment? Not necessary. Why? Because this is already after, yes, after deducting. It's basically they've given away, straight away they've given the cost of the inventory only. Yeah, so I'll write here, fifth one, consignment stock. How much is it? I've done the working out, I'll straight away write the amount. It is 2,400. That's it. We've done the entire problem. Is there any other adjustment? No. See the last part. Goods are sold to by the trader at a profit of 20% on sales. So they've told the profit is 20% on sales. So on the sales we'll eliminate 20%. Simple. We've written here, isn't it? Profit, profit. So here we would have to subtract 20%. 20%. So 20% of 40,000 is how much? 8,000. So if I basically deduct that, I will write here is equal to 4,000, 40,000 minus how much? 8,000. That's basically 32,000 or 80% of 40,000. Similarly, same thing I would have to do here as well. Yeah. So what is it? 1,200 is what it will come to. 6,000 into 20%. So when I do that, what will I be remaining with? 6,000 minus 1,200. That comes to 4,800. So further, these are add items. So what are add items? 32,000 and 4,800. So if I add, it will come to 36,800. Yeah, that is equal to this plus this. And now I'll go for the subtract items. So the less items is this plus this 5,034 plus 2,400. 7,434 is to be deducted. 36,800 is to be added to 50,000 to arrive at the inventory as on 31st of March 2020. So is equal to 50,000. Ouch. plus 36,800 minus 7,434, that will give me 79,366. This is my inventory as per books. What do you say? This is the inventory as per books as of 31st of March 2020. Let us now just check the answer once. What should we get? 79,366. Have a look. This is our answer material. 79,366 is the answer, guys. If you can observe it. 79,366. So that's the answer according to the institute material. So if you can observe the answer, they follow the same format except for the thing that they have not done working note. But we have done the working note. You can do the working note for your understanding. In the examination, should you be doing it? It is suggested to do. But if you want, you can actually skip that. But that's a little risky. So I would also always suggest you to basically do the working note. Yeah. Okay. Let us now go to the next question. That is question number 7. Question number 7 is basically about concept on accounting for depreciation. So we'll do a depreciation question. They've asked us to do ledger account and everything in this particular question. So come on, let's get started with illustration number 7. Yeah. Starting with the question. Messrs. Green Channel purchases second-hand machinery on 1st of January 2017 for 1,60,000. So whenever you buy a second-hand machinery, any expenditure incurred till the time that asset is being ready to be put use, repairs, overhaul, installation, everything is to be added. Same is the case with respect to newly purchased machinery also, that is first-hand machinery. But with respect to second-hand machinery, that initial repair expenditure should also be included. Yeah. Okay. Let's get going. The overhauling and erection charges amounted to 40,000. So if I have to tell you what exactly is the cost of this machinery, it is 1,60,000 plus 40,000. I can straight away take it as 2 lakh rupees as the value of the inventory as on 1st of January 2017. Yeah. Let's continue reading. Another machine was purchased for 80,000 on 1st of July 2017. Okay. So 1st of July 2017. Same year, after 6 months, you purchase one more machinery for 80,000 rupees. On 1st of July 2019. Okay. See, this is after 6 months. After 6 months, this happened. And when you say 1st of July 2019, this is happening after 2 years. So plus 6 months plus 2 years. So after 2 years, what did you do? The machine installed on 1st of January 2017. So the first machinery was sold for 1 lakh and another machinery has been purchased for 30,000. Okay. Purchased and was installed on 30th of September. So perfect. So it's like sold for 1 lakh. Yeah, entire machinery has been sold. So there is machinery 1 which is purchased on 1st of January 2017, machinery 2 which is purchased on 1st of July 2017, then 2019 1st of July the machinery which was installed on 1st of January has been sold. So that one first asset has been basically sold and another machinery was purchased for 30,000. Yeah, this is happening on 30th of September. Perfect. So there are 3 machineries. So we will prepare working note first and then we'll prepare the ledger account. Perfect. Under the existing practice, company provides for depreciation under 10% original cost. So basically they are following SLM method. However, from the year 2020, it decided to adopt WDV method. Okay. So they want us to do it for 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2020. So try and understand. From 2020, they are basically following which? WDV method. So if I have to take you to answer, let us start with it. Illustration number 7, we're starting with the answer. So very important point, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Yeah, you followed SLM. At what rate? At 10%. You can see original cost method also. Okay guys, SLM at 10%. So this is what you did for these 3 years. But later you switched to WDV. At what rate? WDV at 15%. So this is what happened with respect to Green and Company. Concentrate. So they followed SLM method 10%. From the year 2020, it decided to adopt WDV. And this change, entire change, whatever is there, no, change in method of depreciation, we would have to give what sort of effect? Yeah, prospective effect. Prospective effect is to be given for this particular item and there is no concept of retrospective effect. How to deal with prospective effect? Don't worry, I'll teach it to you. Yeah. Okay guys, so this is basic, one important tricky part for this question. So I'll first do the working note and then we'll do the ledger account. But basically what they're asking us is the ledger account. So this is how we need to start our answer. We need to start our answer by writing in the books of. Green and Company, isn't it? Messrs Green Channel. Messrs Green Channel. So this is how you will start your answer. So you have to write this up front and only then you can start with your answer. Okay. This is just for your information. FYI, you need not write this in the exam again. So this is just for your understanding. Okay, so if we were preparing the ledger, we would have to prepare what ledgers? They've asked us to prepare machinery account. So I will write here machinery account in the middle of the page. We have to prepare it for distinct years. Do that. Yeah. So firstly, I'll have what is it? Debit written here because this is ledger, and I would have credit written here. So then I'll have date column. After that, I'll have particulars. So then I'll have amount column. Further again, date, particulars. I can in fact prepare journal folio, but I'm skipping it. Why? Just like that. Yeah. Yeah, guys, my choice now. Few things I can decide to skip. Okay, that's with it. Come on, let's get started. So this is the ledger that you should prepare. But straight away we can't prepare the ledger. I will always suggest you to prepare the working note first and then come to ledger. So let us prepare the working note. So in our working note, I'll write here date column. Let this be my date and let this be my particulars. And here I'll write machine 1, or I'll skip this. I'll write 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and here I'll write machine, and I'll prepare a total column. Total column is what we'll be concerned with. Yeah, so we're content with this. Let us first finish off the working note and then go to the rest of the problem. So if I start on 1st of January 2017, so the date I'll write here 1/1/2017. 1/1/17. What did we do? We purchased. The purchased asset is for what lakh? Shall I straight away take 1 lakh 60 plus 40,000 2 lakh? So it is been purchased for 2 lakh. How did I arrive at 2 lakh? It is 1 lakh 60,000 for the machinery, 40,000 for overhaul and erection charges, both together. And next, I would have to go to end of the year, 31st of December. But before that, I have another transaction on 1st of July 2017. So I'll go to 1st of July 2017. What is happening on this date? Again, there is a purchase, not the first asset. Okay, there's nothing here and there's nothing here as well. So what did we do? We purchased a second asset. The second asset is purchased for 80,000. So right here 80,000. So third asset is not involved in this transaction, and that's it, blank. Third asset comes very much late. So if we have to write the amounts here, 2 lakh, and I'll write 80,000. Yeah. Okay, so next transaction is on 1st of July 2019. That is after 2 years. So for now we'll go till the end of there. End of there is 31st of December 2017. We're assuming that the calendar year is the financial year here and not 31st of March. Why they've not given anywhere? And they've asked us to do it from 2017 to 2020. Yeah. So I'll write here less depreciation. Depreciation is to be provided at what rate? At 10% SLM. 10% SLM. You get that? So come on, let's go ahead and then charge depreciation. So depreciation on this asset would be equals multiplied by 10%. So it will be how much? 20,000 rupees. Further, on the second asset, you cannot be writing it as 80,000 at 20% exclusively because this asset, which is costing 80,000, it is bought on 1st of July. So January, February, March, April, May, June, first 6 months, this asset was not there. It was only there for July, August, September, October, November, December, 6 months. So I have to give it for half the year. So I'll do is equal to this one multiplied by how much is the percentage of depreciation? 10% multiplied by I'll do 0.5. You get that? So it will basically become 8,000, sorry, 4,000. 8,000 for the entire year, half year ke liye 4,000. So the total depreciation is so much. Okay, guys. Yeah, 24,000. So when the total depreciation is 24,000, if I go on deducting so much, I'll arrive at 1st of January 2018. On 1st of January 2018, what will be my book value? Book value will be this. Okay, fine. First, let me make this zeros. So it will be easier. I can apply the formula. Yeah. So it will be equals this plus this minus this. So depreciation is to be subtracted 1,80,000 here, and if I try to apply the same, it will come out to how much? 2,56,000. So this is the value as on this date. I hope you got it. So let's go to the end of 2018 also. So 2018 there is no purchase, no sale. The next thing is sale. That too is on 1st of July 2019. So till then no problem. So I'll go for again same concept. I'll do here less depreciation. Yeah, but on this case we need to remember that the depreciation here is to be charged on what amount? It is to be charged on the original cost all by itself. 140. You get that? So depreciation is again 20,000 for the first year. Why? 20,000 for the second year, because we are following SLM method. Under SLM method, depreciation is charged on the original value of 2 lakh. So 2 lakh into 10% depreciation will be 20,000 again. How about here? Again here it will be 80,000 multiplied by 10%. Same again. 8,000 rupees. You might say, sir, here it is 20, here it is 20, here it is 4. Why is it 8 here? Because in the second year, the second machinery is used for the entire year. We provide entire year depreciation. However, with regard to first year, the asset was purchased in the middle of the year and used only for 6 months. So we provide depreciation only for 6 months. So you guys get that? So here what is it that I would have to do? Is equal to this plus this plus this. So I would arrive at 2,56,000. So how about here? It will be 28,000 is the depreciation in the second year. Now then I would find the book value. Shall I find the book value now? I'm going to 1st of January 2019. So what is my book value? Book value is equal to the asset value minus the depreciation. 1,60,000 here is equal to the asset value minus the depreciation. 68,076 minus this one. So this would remain 0. That's not been purchased yet. So is equal to what would be the value? This plus this. So that's it. 2,28,000 is the book value of the asset on 1st of January 2019. So next transaction, I need to remember that the first part of the asset is sold on 1st of July 2019. Read that third paragraph. 1st of July 2019, machinery purchased on 1st of January 2017 was sold. For 1 lakh, we'll remember later. So for 1 lakh, don't worry about it right now. So only thing that you need to note right now is it is being sold. Okay, come on, let's go back. So it's sold as on what date? 1st of July 2017, 2019. 1st of July 2019. So I will do that same less depreciation thing. So when I do less depreciation, how many months should I provide the depreciation for? I need to provide depreciation on 2 lakh, okay, at 10% for how many months? Not for the entire year. The asset is used from January to 1st of July. So January, February, March, April, May, June. It's only used for 6 months. I'll provide depreciation only for 6 months. So I'll do into 6 divided by 12. So instead I can write 0.5, half a year. It's used for half a year. So depreciation comes to 10,000 guys. And should I be depreciating this asset? No. That asset will depreciate at the end. So is this asset. Will not be depreciating that as well. Now, this asset is being sold. When this asset is being sold, there should be zero value with regard to this asset. Cost of asset sold. So what is the cost of the value of the asset sold? 1 lakh 60 may say 10,000 gone. So 1 lakh 50,000. This asset is sold, guys. Now, if I go for the end of the year, somewhere here, if I write 31st December 19, and then I go for 1st of January 20. When I go about here, this should be 0 for this asset. How? It should be like equals this minus depreciation minus this cost of the asset. So it should become 0. Yeah. When will it become 0? 1 lakh 60,000 is the value. 10,000 they depreciated. 1 lakh 50,000 worth asset is sold. Now come here. Asset sold. Yeah. Very important. Concentrate on this. Cost. What is the cost of the asset sold? 1 lakh 50,000. What is the selling price? Selling price of this asset is 1 lakh. It is been sold for 1 lakh. Note this. See, this cost of the asset is how much? 1 lakh 50. Selling price of the asset is how much? 1 lakh. And what is the conclusion here? What is more than what? Selling price is less. Cost is more. Cost is greater than selling price. When the cost is greater than selling price, what is it? What will it lead to? Loss. So how much is the loss on sale of this asset? 50,000. The book value of that asset was 1 lakh 50. You basically sold it for only 1 lakh. So there is loss of 50,000 that you incurred. So this is important. Then this will help us pass the journal entry. Yeah. If you guys want, tell me what is the journal entry for this one. Okay, leave that. Yeah. Tell me what will be the journal entry for this one. You are receiving cash. Cash account debit. How much will you debit your cash account by? How much did you receive? Selling price. You received 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Okay. Further, you give away asset. So I'll write 2. Asset is going out. When an asset goes out, it's decreasing. We have to credit it, isn't it? Machinery account. What is the value of the asset going out? 1 lakh 50,000. Yeah, there is a difference of 50,000. The journal entry is not matching by 50. To that extent of 50, it is basically loss. So I'll write P and L account debit. So the journal entry for this one is cash account debit 1 lakh, P&L account debit 50,000, to machine account 1 lakh 50. So if I go to my machine account here, on the debit I would write, what to say, sorry, on the credit I would have to write buy cash and buy P&L. Buy cash 1 lakh, buy P&L 50,000. Yeah. However, don't worry about the ledger posting. We'll see it later. Yeah. So we're just done with this sale. Anything else happening on this date here? Yeah. Anything else happening on this date? 1st of July? Nothing. And the same year, on 30th of September, you purchase another machinery for 30,000. So we'll go to 30th of September. 30th of September 2019. So what did you do on this date? You add it, meaning you purchase. So I'll write add purchase. So what is it? Is it machinery 1? Is it machinery 2? It is machinery 3. What is the value of the machinery purchase? 30,000. So I'll write here 30,000. And that's it. Any other transaction in 2019? No. Then we would have to go to 2020 and change the method of depreciation from SLM to WDV. So what I would do is I'll go for the end of there, that is I'm going for depreciation. I'll write here depreciation. Yeah. So come on, let us identify the depreciation now. So depreciation on the first asset is 0. Why? The asset itself is sold. When the asset is sold, there will be no depreciation. Second asset, same old 8,000 depreciation. Why? We're doing which method? SLM method. SLM method may it will be same, isn't it? Every year. Now 30,000 worth asset. How much will be depreciation? 30,000 multiplied by 10%. Shall I tap enter? Shall I charge 10% for entire year? No. The 10% is for entire year. But this asset is purchased on 30th of September. Meaning, this asset is used in October, November, December. 3 by 12. Only 3 out of 12 months. So, I should further do 3 divided by 12. Yeah, basically 1/4. Or you can do into 0.25 also. So, it's basically 750. 30,000 is the value of the asset on which 10% depreciation will be 3,000 for entire year. For 6 months, it will be 1,500. For 3 months, it will be 750. I need to provide depreciation only for 3 out of 12 months. Why? The asset is used from September till December. So after September, October, November, and December. So only 3 months. So that's it. Yeah, come on, let us go ahead. So we're done with that also. We'll go to 1st of January 2020. So what is it? I have to write book value. So book value means first asset is sold, so it will be 0. Second asset 68,000 was the value. Out of which 8,000 is sold. So 8,000 is depreciation. So value will be 60,000. Next 30,000 was there. 750 you depreciated. It will become 29,250. Yeah. So then what is the value that's remaining here? It is 60,000. This plus this plus this. So it should become 89,250. Another important point here is see, we're done with 2017. This is 2017. This is 2018. Here we'll do what? SLM. Here we did what? SLM. And this year also we did what? SLM. But for this year we would have to do WDV. We would have to do return down value method. Now, come on, let us go for the end of the year, 31st of December 2020. I would have to deduct here less depreciation. Remember, this year it is at WDV method. So what is the rate at WDV method? 15%. So I'll do this will be 0. First asset is sold now. So on this asset I'll do is equal to this multiplied by 15%. Depreciation will be 9,000. And here again same formula. What is it? 29,250 multiplied by 15%. Will you provide for entire year or not? Yes, you would have to provide for entire year. Now, let us go till the end of the year. Let's just find the closing value. So, 1st of January 2021, what will be the return down value? I can write WDV. Yeah, this will be 0. This will be is equal to 60,000 minus 9,000, that will be 51,000. And herein it will be 29,250 minus 4,387.5. It should be 24,862.5. Okay, so here I'll just drag the formula. That's it. So this is it, guys. So now we have the entire information, and this is our working note. So this data is sufficient for us to prepare a what? A ledger. Yeah, this is little bigger working note, but trust me, this will be very handy. You will love this when you start solving the problem. When you start preparing the ledger account, this will become very handy. Yeah, so if you can manage to prepare a working note of this sort, it will become very easy when you're preparing the ledger account. Now, in the ledger account, what is it that I would have to do? I would have to just look at the working note and then start posting things. So, firstly, there is purchase of the asset. What date? 1st of January 2017. So, whenever there is purchase, machinery is increasing. So, on the debit. If it is increasing, on the debit. If it is decreasing, on the credit. If I would have to tell you the journal entry, when the machinery is purchased, machinery account debit to cash account is the entry. Yeah, I would leave you with this for a second so that you can take a screenshot of this, or if you want, you can take what do you say? Yeah, copy this if you want. Yeah, working note, and here is the working note with regard to our what is the sale of the asset. Yeah, so machinery account debit to cash. I would only be looking at the total column. Forget the rest of the columns, guys. So we'll only be looking at the total column. Only total column we should pass journal entries. So 2 lakh. Here I'll write 1117 to cash account. How much? 2 lakh. Perfect. So we're done with the first transaction. So we're done with this. So we'll go to the next one. There is again purchase on 1st of July 2017. So we'll do the same thing, but this time the amount is 80,000. So I will do Control C, Control V, but I would have to change the date. It is as on what date? 1st of July. 1st of July 17, and the amount is 80,000. 80,000 rupees. Perfect. We're done with the second transaction also. Now we're going to the third transaction. Less depreciation. Depreciation ke liye what is the entry? Depreciation is an expense. Expense has to be debited. So I would have to write depreciation account debit to which account? To machinery account. So depreciation account debit to machinery. So in machinery account I'll write by depreciation account. What is the amount? Amount is, so let's just look at the total column. It's 24,000. So guys, technically we're done with this entry also. Okay, come on. So that's it. That's the end of the first year. So we'd have to just write the balance carried on and then close this. This is as on 31st of December 17. So I'll write same thing again, 31st of December 2017. So by balance carried down, how much will that be? That will be 2 lakh plus 80,000 minus 24,000. So that is 2,56,000. Yes, so this is a balancing figure. I have written it in bold. We can come back here and then see if it is 2,56,000. So this 2,56,000 would come to the next year. So I'll write here 1st of January 2018 to balance brought down. So this would be equal to this amount only. Yeah, if you want, you can write totals can be written, but it's actually not mandatory to write the totals. Yes, you heard me right. It is not mandatory to write the totals. Sir, are you sure? 100%. Sir, will we be given full marks even if you don't write the total? 100%. Just draw 2 lines and then go to the next period. Yeah, come on. Let us go to the next year. So next year, may opening book value is already written. Only thing that we need to write is depreciation amount and the balance carried on amount. Oh God, so simple, sir. Yeah, sir. Okay. So what is the date? 31st of December 2018. I just change the date. It will become 18, and this will also become 18. How much is the depreciation in second year? Simple. Have a look here. Second year depreciation 28,000. So I'll come back here and then change it to 28,000. Yeah. So it will become 2,28,000 is the closing balance. So depreciation is done. Now come check the book value. Book value should be 2,28,000. Book value 2,28,000. Perfect. So we're going to year 3. So in year 3 there is depreciation as on 1st of July only. Okay, perfect. Don't worry. So I will write here. Okay, I forgot this total for your happiness. Now I'm going to 1st of January 2019. I'll write to balance brought down. How much will that be? That will be equal to 2,28,000. And I'm doing depreciation this time was on 1st of July 2019. Why? That one part of the asset is sold. Okay. But how much is the depreciation that we provided? This date, mein, how much is the depreciation we provided? Depreciation that we provide is only 10,000. Why? For half a year. Is it so, sir? Yeah, it is so. Do you guys understand? Then we have the sale of the asset part. Sale of the asset part ke liye, don't break your head. We've already done the working note and I've written the journal entry also. So what is the journal entry? Cash account debit, P&L account debit to machine account. So in machinery account, I would have to write buy cash, buy PL. How much? 1,50,000. So I'll write buy cash 1 lakh, buy PL 50,000. Come on guys, get ready. Buy cash. This is selling price. 1 lakh. 2 zeros, 3 zeros. Then I'll write buy P&L account. What is this for? This is loss. If I write loss on the credit side in machinery account, see I'm writing it on the credit side, it will go to debit side in the P&L account. How much is it? 50,000. Yeah, so by this I'm done with this cost of the asset sold as well as loss treatment also. So now I would have to go to 30th of September purchase. So purchase may what is the entry? Machinery account debit to cash account. So I'll write here machinery account debit to cash. What date is this happening? This is happening on 30th of September 2019. So what is it that I'll write to cash account? Okay, which machine is this? This is machinery 3. What is the amount? Yeah, just see, no? How much is it? It is 30,000. Oh, I forgot that. Total column it has not come. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll check that. Okay, 30,000. So 30,000 is the value of the asset purchased. So I'll write here 30,000. 30,000 purchased. Perfect. So no problem. So this is happening on 1st of July 2019. Machinery. So what else is happening? There is depreciation as on 31st of December. Okay. As usual, depreciation, what do? We deduct, no? It is decrease in the value of the asset. So on the credit side. Or other way around, the journal entry is depreciation account debit to the machinery account. So in the machinery account, we have to write by depreciation. How much is the depreciation amount? Depreciation is 8,000 plus 750. 8,000. Yeah, 8,750 is the depreciation. So I'll write here 8,750. 8,750. Perfect. Let us go to balance carried on. I have to just change the date a little. Yes, the amount is gone little wrong. Okay, fine. Let me put the formula. Sum, add this much, close the bracket, minus sum, open bracket, and this much. Yeah, the balance figure is 89,050. That is the balance carried on. Check here. What do you have here? 89,050. Perfect. Okay. Then we would have to just depreciate it in the next year for 13,387.5 and we're done. Okay. Not to worry. Just chill. Yes, 2,58,000, 2,50,000 total on both sides. Now I'll write 1st of January 2020 May. What do I write? Balance brought down. How much is balance brought down? Same as the balance that is carried on in the previous period. That is 89,250. Yeah. Okay. Next we'd have to go for depreciation. 31st of December 2020. The only trick here is we have to do depreciation under WDV method, not under SLM method anymore. Yeah, how much is the depreciation under WDV method? You need not worry, we've already done the working note, you already have the amount with you here. Just look at the total column, it is 13,387.5. So I'll just put 13,387.50. That's it, we're done. And if I find the balance carried down here, just I would have to change the date and then find the balance. See, what would be the balance carried on? I had the asset to the extent of 89,250 and I've depreciated till 13,387.5. I'll subtract it. I'll arrive at 75,862.5. That is the answer. That is a WDV. See, you have 75,862.5 here as well. So that's it. Now all I need to do is write the totals is equal to some totals. You can skip it in the exam. Don't waste time writing the totals. If you have excess time, then you prefer writing. Then only you do the totals. Yeah, see it matches 89,250, 89,250. And that's it, guys. So this is our machinery account. And this is how you present the answer as well in the examination. Yes, okay, I'll just draw a box so that you guys can see it really nice. If you have to draw lines and all together, it should be something like this. Yep, so this is how your machinery account will look when you do it in the examination. So what has been asked on the left side, what has been written on the left side is the ledger account, and what is there on the right is the working note for the same with respect to this. So working note, I'll just show it to you once if you want to take a screenshot. And then here it is, the machinery account, solution to illustration number 7. Yes, I hope you made a note. So this is your answer with respect to illustration number 7. So in this particular video, we have finished our illustration number 6 and then also put illustration number 7. So next up, we have illustration number 8 and illustration number 9 and a lot of other illustrations pending. So let's get started with them and then do them as well. Come on, let's now do illustration number 8, which is a question on bills of exchange. Let's get started. It's a bills of exchange question, so I personally think that this should be a question on journal entries. So if you just read the last line, you'll understand. Past journal entries with narration in the books of Siriman. So two important points. Firstly, they've asked for journal entries, not ledger accounts. That is usual. In this chapter, they'll ask only for journal entries. The next thing is, it is asked in the books of Siriman. So you need to see yourself in the position of Siriman throughout and then check for the answer. Because there will be, see, this couple of other parties involved. There is Rita involved. And in few questions, there will be one more party also involved in it. So you should not see the transaction from their side. You should exclusively see the transaction from your side. So you need to see the entire transaction from whose side now? Siriman. Because they've asked for accounting entries in the books of Siriman. Have a look in the books of Siriman. Okay, let's get started. So Rita owed 1 lakh to Siriman. Okay, so Siriman is the person here. So who's Rita to Siriman? Rita owed money. So Rita is our debtor. Okay, so we're doing in the books of so we're doing in the books of Siriman. We'd have to draw a date column. We'll have particulars. Then there is one ledger folio which is actually not required, and you'll have debit. Then you'll have credit. Two amount columns. Yeah, so this is the format for journals for us. And Rita is our data. Perfect. Okay. So Rita owed 1 lakh rupees to Sriman. Okay. On 1st of October, Rita accepted a bill drawn by Sriman. So bill receivable, it is to us. So we raise a bill, Rita sign it and then give it back to us. This bills receivable to Sriman. Yeah, we should only see it from Sriman's perspective. When this is happening on 1st of October, so I'll write 1st of October 2019. Bill is being received. Bills receivable is an asset. When an asset is increasing, we would have to debit it. So the journal entry will be bills receivable account debit. Am I right? So bills receivable account has to be debited. Whom are you receiving it from? Credit the giver of benefit is the law, is the rule according to the traditional law. Or if you see Siriman, if you see Rita is a debtor and Rita is an asset of yours, that asset she's giving you a bill. When a bills receivable is received from a debtor, the debtor's account balance will decrease. Rita is your debtor is an asset balance is decreasing. When the asset is decreasing, we would have to credit it. So I'll write Rita account as credit. Okay, so what is the amount with regard to which the bill is received? For 3 months, very good, 1 lakh rupees is the amount. 1 lakh. So 1 lakh is the amount. So received bill from Siriman for 3 months. For 3 months. So when is it received? 1st of October 2019. So if I add 3 months to it, it will basically become what? 1st of, okay, November 1st, December 1st, January 1st. 1st of January 2020. That's how the rate will be. Whereas you can add 3 grace days to it, it will become 4th of January 2020. So that would be the dates wise. But this calculation has been not been asked. So let's just keep it and then go ahead. You can write narration here. Being bills received from Rita. Yeah. All you need to do is just start with being and then write a very crisp form of the same transaction what you read without giving reference to the amount. And then you're done with the narration. Don't break your head on narration. It should be very simple. Yeah. Okay. Going ahead, then what else do we have? Siriman got the bill discounted. As a person who's received the bill as a drawer, I have an option either to hold the bill till maturity, discount it with the banker, or endorse it to someone. So I prefer to discount it in this case. When I discount it, I receive money from the banker. Some part of it will not be received. That part what is not received is discounting charges, which is expense to me, and that in return I'm basically giving the bill. So whenever the bill is discounted, when a bill is discounted, what will happen? When a bill is discounted, what is say money received. Money will be received from the banker in the bank account. Yeah, some money will be commission, discount. Discount charges will be there and bill value. Together it will come to bill value. Yeah, and in this case we know the bill value is 1 lakh. 1 lakh is the value of the bill. Now tell me what is the money received. They've told that yeah, discounted from the bank for 99,000. So banker gave us 99,000. So 1,000 what the banker didn't give us is basically our discounting charges. To this extent, money is received. It is increase in our bank balance. I would have to write bank account debit. Why? To that extent, the bank balance is increasing. Now, discount charges, whatever is there here, that to that extent, what is happening? Our to that extent, that is our expenses. And expenses, as we know, it is to be debited. Or even if you go by the traditional rule, nominal account basically says that debit all expense and losses. So I'll write discount. Discount charges account debit. So how much is discount charges? 1,000. I'll write here 1,000. This is 99,000. And totally what happened to this extent, bills is given to the customer, is given to the banker. Bill is an asset. When I give it to my banker, it is going up, it is decreasing. So I would have to credit it. So I'll write here bills receivable account as credit. How much is that? That is to the extent of 1 lakh. Yep, so that's the entry. Money received is debited to bank account. Discount charges is debited discount charges account. Bill value which is going out is to be credited. Why? That is the extent of decrease in the value of the asset. All this is happening is on what date? It's happening on 3rd of October. So I'll write here 3, 10, 19. And it doesn't stop there. You would have to write narration. Being bill discounted. Yeah, you can write a little longer one, but doesn't really matter much. Yeah, so we're done with the transaction 3rd of October also. Let's see what will happen after that. So before the due date, so the due date is 1st of January 2020. Yeah, before the due date, what happened? Rita approached Sriman for renewal of the bill. Now what exactly do you mean by renewal? Renewal means that a bill is due for payment on one date. You cannot pay on that date. You're asking for extension of the time. When you're asking for extension of the time, the original bill for 3 months should be torn and you should sign a new bill. So that is renewal. Yeah, that's what is being asked. Okay. The Siriman agreed on the condition that 50,000 to be paid immediately together with interest. So what is happening is 1 lakh is the bill. With regard to 1 lakh worth bill, Rita will pay 50,000 to Siriman immediately, and for the remaining amount they would have to sign a new bill. That new bill will be for a new period. You get that? But right now, think from Siriman's perspective. Siriman doesn't have the bill with him. The bill has been discounted and then kept with the banker. So what is it that Siriman should do? Siriman should get the bill back from the banker. So the first transaction that's happening here is, what to say, getting the bill back from the banker. When I do that, I would have to reverse this entry. I wrote bank to bills receivable. Now I would have to write it reverse. Bills receivable is coming to me from the bank. So I would have to debit it. And I need to pay the banker money. So I'll write this entry. So the journal entry is bills receivable account debit. So I would have to debit my bills receivable. To what extent? To the extent of 1 lakh. And when I receive the bill back from the banker asks for money and I need to pay him back. Now the question is, can I pay the banker 99,000? No, that 1,000 is charges. Once charged, always charged. That's it. No reversal of that. So I need to pay the banker entire 1 lakh and then get the bill back from him. Now, I'm not keeping this bill with me. So right now when I debited, that bill is with me, Siriman. Siriman is not going to keep this bill with him. He's going to return this bill back to Rita. Is going to return this bill back to Rita. When he returns this bill back to Rita, Rita account will be debited. Why? Rita, when she receives the bill back from Siriman, Rita has to pay money, no, to Siriman. Yeah. And what am I giving? Bills receivable. It's an asset which is decreasing, so I will credit it. So I'll write to bills receivable account. So this is what I write. I'll write Rita account debit to bills receivable account. So if you guys can observe, the first transaction what I wrote, bills receivable to Rita, that transaction I'm reversing it here, and this transaction I'm reversing it here. So it's like this. Rita gave us the bill, we give it to bank. Now Rita is asking for the bill back because she wants to give new bill. I take it back from the banker and I give it back to Rita. So the first two transactions were cancelled by the next two transactions. Why? Because Rita is signing a new bill. Now further, what is happening on this date is Rita is basically paying us 50,000 cash. She's straight away saying, sir, take 50,000 cash. I say, oh, thank you, I'll take it. But what about the remaining 50,000? She's saying that for the remaining 50,000, read that Siriman agreed on the condition that 50,000 to be paid immediately together with interest. So paying with interest. Why? Because if 50,000 is paid, the remaining 50,000, they're signing a new bill. That's what I told as renewal. And that new bill is for the remaining amount at 12% per annum for 3 months. So think from Siriman's perspective, Siriman is going to receive 50,000 right now. The remaining 50,000 will receive it after 3 months. So that 50,000 is receiving it late. For such late receipt, is charging interest at 12% for 3 months. So interest is 50,000 multiplied by 12% multiplied by 3 by 12. How much is the interest for 50,000 at 12% into 3 by 12? That's what we need to compute now. Come on, let us compute interest. Interest, yeah, is equal to, okay, fine, I'll do it here. 50,000 multiplied by 12% multiplied by 3 by 12. 3 divided by 12 for 3 months. So that comes to 1,500. 1,500 rupees is the interest that she needs to pay. So she pays 1,500 interest, and then bill value how much? She pays 50,000. So 50,000 is received, interest of 1,500 is received. From whom? From Rita. Now concentrate. We are receiving money, so we have to write cash account debit. Why cash account debit? Cash is an asset. When received, it will increase, and when an asset is increasing, we need to debit it. So how much will we receive? We receive 51,500. Yeah. From whom are we receiving? Rita. I'll write to Rita. Rita was supposed to pay us 50,000. She basically is paying 50,000 against the money that she needs to pay. Additional 1,500, what she paid us is basically our income. Interest income account. So I'm creating it further. So out of this 1 lakh, what Rita account was debited, 50,000 she paid. Further, she paid 1,500 to compensate as interest. So I was supposed to receive 50. I received 50,000 plus 1,500 as interest. So receivable from Rita was how much? 1 lakh. Yeah, 50,000 she paid, and then 1,500 also she paid. New bill. So new bill is signed for what amount? New bill is signed for 50,000. You get that? So she signs 50,000 new bill. She gives 50,000 cash. Additionally, she pays us 1,500. That 1,500 what she paid extra is basically our income. Yeah. Instead, you can actually write this as two different entries. You can write again Rita to interest further 1,500, and then write cash to Rita 50,500, 50,500. Wouldn't really make a difference. Yeah. So then Rita is further giving us a new bill. So that new bill is received. When a new bill is received, it's an asset increasing. I would have to debit it. So what is the new bill amount? New bill amount is 50,000. Who's giving it to us? Rita. Rita account. How much? 50,000. Yeah. Now if you can observe, things are getting fine here. See, Rita account debit 1 lakh. Rita account credit 50, credit 50. 50,000 she paid by cash. 50,000 she paid by, she gave a new bill. And 1,500 compensation also she paid. She need not pay that, but she still paid that. Yes or no? Did you guys get this? Come on, let's go ahead. So what's happening after that? So balance, Rita accepted a new bill for 3 months. Yes, these arrangements were carried out, but afterwards Rita became insolvent, and the amount was only 40% of the amount was recovered. Okay, now concentrate here. Receivable from Rita. Again, 1 lakh was receivable. 50,000 she paid. Am I right? But 50,000 she gave new bill. So 50,000 is receivable from her. Now became insolvent. Now, what do you know became insolvent? Became insolvent doesn't mean that she jumped into water and then she was not dissolved, and later people told that, oh, Rita was insolvent, and she jumped into water to check if she was insolvent. That's what a lot of businessmen do, no? To check if they're solvent or not, they jump into water. Unfortunately, dead body would be still there. It would not dissolve in the water, and they'll be called as insolvent. Not all the businessmen who fail jump into water. Few fly away. I'm not talking about Vijay Mallya, just a reference. Yeah. So became insolvent. When she became insolvent, what does that mean? Technically, it means that the assets of Rita is insufficient to pay the liabilities. The assets of Rita is insufficient to pay the liabilities. Maybe because the assets are overvalued, or maybe because liability should be paid more than what is given in the books. So either of the cases. So when she became insolvent, it's not like completely insolvent. She can pay to the extent of 40,000. Yeah, receipt. Yeah, receipt. How much was received? 40% of the money was received. Meaning, that's what is given to us here. Yeah, 40 paise in a rupee will be received. So technically 40% installment and 40% of the amount is required. So 50,000 we say, 40% is received. 40% is received. So basically you receive 20,000. So whatever you don't receive is bad debts. So she is a debtor who became bad. Became bad. How much? 30,000. Yeah. And this is your expense, buddies. And this is your cash receipt. Yeah. So that's it. So again, what's happening? Again, the bill is getting dishonored, and then you're receiving so much money. So first, bills receivable was there with Rita. Bills receivable was there from Rita. This bill is getting dishonored. I need to give the bill back to Rita. Yes or no? So I need to reverse this. I've written bills receivable to Rita. Now I need to write Rita. Rita account debit to bills receivable account. How much? 50,000 worth bill, whatever is there with us, we returned it to Rita. So this is like being bill received. Okay, I didn't write narration here. Being new bill ED. Okay, now this bill is being dishonored, so I'll return this bill. Being bill return on insolvency. Yeah, that person is insolvent, so we return the bill. So then what's happening? Rita is paying us cash. Am I right? Though she is insolvent, she is not completely insolvent. So I'll write cash account debit. How much cash did you receive? I've written it here. No, receipt is how much? 20,000. So 20,000 is received. Further, 30,000 what is not received, I told you it is expense. Expense should be debited. So I'll write bad debt account debit. To this extent, bad debt would also be debited. And further, after I debit the bad debt, I would have to what? Credit Rita. Because Rita will not be liable to pay anymore. Here I have debited Rita. I would have to credit Rita account here. By how much? 50,000. Yeah, you would have to write the same explanation here. Being Rita, okay, being money received and bad debts recorded. Something like that. That would do. Yeah, so that's it. So this is the end of this question on bills of exchange. You guys can have a look. Yes, guys, this is not a very tricky one. You just have to see the transaction one part at a time and then go ahead and then record it. Yeah, have a look. So that's the first entry. I'll just show it to you so that you guys can take a screenshot of it and then copy if you want to. So this is how you write. Perfect. So this is the first few entries. Then this is the next entry. After that, if you are drawing lines, so in the exam you would have to draw a line only in the particulars column and the line would not go till amounts column. It's good if you knew it before, but if you didn't, here it is. I didn't want you to do it wrong. And it is important to write narrations. Don't skip writing narrations. Unless and until specifically mentioned in the question not to write narrations, you would have to always write narrations. So that's the end of illustration number 8. So we would have to further do few questions. There's 9 to 18 remaining. So I think the video is taking like it's already become an hour plus. So what I'll do is I'll just end the video in this particular part. So this part 3. So in the next particular video we'll be doing consignment, sale of goods on return or approval basis, and we'll do account current and average weekly. Yeah, we'll do the rectification with final accounts. So we'll do the other questions in the next video. So that's in part 3 of Principles and Practice of Accounting RTP November 20 discussion. I hope you guys did understand how to do this. So see you all in the next part wherein I'll discuss consignment and the upcoming questions in the RTP. Till then, stay in the game.